A tender-hearted 8-year-old black boy, thin, without a home and frequently met with disdain, gambled everything to rescue a young white girl from predators at the school entrance. Despite being brutally attacked, he summoned his last reserves of strength to guide her escape along a narrow trail behind the cornfield. Later, within a crumbling shelter deep in the fields, the two children sought refuge through the long, bitter night. Before we delve into this narrative, please share your viewing location. We value your feedback. A piercing shriek rent the tranquil morning air. Sam, a slender 8-year-old black boy, propelled himself like an arrow towards the school gate. His bare feet were encrusted with mud. The sharp stones biting into his heels were inconsequential. Ahead, Lily Vance, a 7-year-old blonde girl, stood paralyzed before an impeccably dressed man with an unsettlingly amiable smile. His hand extended a teddy bear, yet his gaze held a chilling, calculated intention. "No, don't, little girl. Keep away from them." Sam's voice, high-pitched and frantic, tore through the air. He recognized this man and his nefarious purpose with absolute clarity. Sam's heart hammered against his ribs, a surge of adrenaline coursing through him. The man Vincent and his two burly, heavily tattooed enforcers spun around. Vincent's feigned pleasantry dissolved, replaced by a cruel, brutal expression. He snarled, gesturing to his cohorts. Sam lunged forward, seizing Lily's hand and yanking her backward. "He's a menace. He'll abduct you. He's a trafficker." "Lily, flee!" Sam exclaimed, attempting to push her further away. "You insolent brat. How dare you interfere?" One of the henchmen bellowed, his massive hand descending in a powerful blow. Sam, small and vulnerable, had no hope of fighting back. He knew defeat was certain, yet he instinctively moved, shielding Lily with his frail body. Iron-hard punches and forceful kicks rained down upon Sam's diminutive frame. He felt his bones protest, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth, but he clung fiercely to Lily, refusing to yield. Lily shrieked in terror, tears streaming down her face, clutching Sam's shirt, feeling every impact on his small form. "Run, Lily. Don't look back," Sam whispered, his voice laced with agony. Yet his eyes blazed with fierce resolve. He marshaled all his remaining strength, forcefully pushing Lily towards the cornfield. "Locate the narrow path behind the cornfield. Flee." Lily struggled, her vision blurred by tears, but she witnessed Sam's valiant stand, enabling her escape. She heeded Sam's words, scrambling frantically into the slender trail that led into the towering cornfields. Sam continued to resist, enduring more blows to gain Lily precious time. Finally, once Lily was out of sight, Sam was rendered unconscious, sprawling in a small pool of his own blood. Vincent, his face a blend of rage and astonishment at his target's escape, signaled his largest enforcer to remain and deal with Sam, while he and the other man swiftly pursued Lily into the cornfield. He could not afford to forfeit such a lucrative prize. Hours later, as Sam regained consciousness in the darkened shack, the morning's events flooded back like a torrent. The throbbing pain in his body served as a harsh reminder of the fateful encounter at the school gate. But to comprehend why a homeless boy like him would jeopardize his life to save a stranger, one must revisit the preceding days. The town of Fairfield, where Sam and Lily resided, presented a stark dichotomy. To the north, paved thoroughfares stretched beneath verdant canopies, and stately homes lay concealed behind pristine picket fences, like precious gems encased in glass. Golden sunlight bathed every rooftop, painting a tableau of affluence and tranquility. This was a realm of abundance, where every concern seemed limited to homeowners' association meetings or the selection of drapery hues. Lily Vance, at 7 years old, inhabited this world. She grew up protected, carefree, and innocent, utterly oblivious to the town's darker enclaves. A mere few miles distant to the south of town, where asphalt yielded to muddy dirt tracks, another existence struggled to greet each dawn. Improvised dwellings fashioned from plywood and rusty corrugated iron clustered together like scars on the barren landscape. Most inhabitants here were impoverished laborers, predominantly people of color, living hand-to-mouth in deprived circumstances, often overlooked or regarded with suspicion from the opposing side of town. Sam, an 8-year-old black boy, existed in this world. He had been without a home since the age of 6. Sam's mother succumbed to acute pneumonia after days without the means to acquire medicine. His father, an immigrant construction worker, collapsed and vanished without a trace, leaving Sam utterly alone. From that point onward, Sam learned to subsist by pure instinct. His sleep consisted of brief naps beneath decaying bridges, within damp, derelict abandoned structures, or concealed within dense thickets along the malodorous river. His bare feet were caked with mud, and the deep calluses on his heels served as unequivocal evidence of his migratory life. Sam had mastered the art of discerning people's intentions through their eyes, of foraging for discarded food from shuttered stalls, and crucially of recognizing peril from the slightest indicators, an indispensable survival skill. One early morning, not long before the incident at the school gate, Eleanor Vance, Lily's mother, embarked on a shopping trip to the market. She exuded confidence in her designer coat and costly handbag. Raised within a respected family, Eleanor subscribed to the belief that accomplishment and social standing were the true arbiters of a person's worth. She sought to shield her daughter from any deleterious influences originating from those she deemed outside her social strata. This conviction had become deeply ingrained in her psyche. At a bustling fruit stand, Sam, famished and yearning for the plump red apples, summoned his courage and approached Eleanor. "Excuse me, ma'am." His voice was soft. "Could you spare a few coins, please? I'm so hungry." Eleanor frowned, a look of discomfort clearly etched upon her elegant face. She scrutinized Sam from head to toe with disdain. "Go on." Her voice was cold, sharp, loud enough to cause a few onlookers to turn their heads. "Don't pester people. You look so dirty and disheveled. You're probably just loitering. Didn't your parents instill any manners in you?" She tugged Lily's hand, shooing Sam away as if he were a contagion, her eyes brimming with prejudice. Sam recoiled, a blend of hurt and the familiar, hardened resignation washing over him. He was all too accustomed to such glances and words. He turned to depart, attempting to suppress the bitterness. But then, as Eleanor was engrossed in paying, Lily secretly reached into her pocket, extracting a vibrant red strawberry candy. Swift as a flash, she placed the confection into Sam's slender hand, her eyes wide with empathy and a hint of timidity. Sam gazed at the candy, then upward at Lily with a surprised, profoundly grateful expression. A small, faint yet genuine smile flickered across his chapped lips. "Thank you, little girl," Sam murmured. Lily merely nodded subtly, swiftly withdrawing her hand as her mother turned to glance. That instant was a rare beacon of warmth for Sam. The candy became a cherished possession. From that moment, Sam began to take notice of Lily, transforming her into a bright spot in his otherwise somber existence. Sam frequently roamed the market and deserted thoroughfares, not solely to procure food, but also to gather intelligence. He possessed an acute sixth sense for peril. Over the preceding weeks, a growing apprehension had settled within him. Sam began to observe a suspicious cadre of individuals. They often idled in parks near schools or locales frequented by children, carrying candies and enticing toys to lure them. Sam had learned about these individuals from older homeless people who had cautioned him about an organized child trafficking network operating in the vicinity. They not only abducted for ransom, but also served more abhorrent trafficking schemes, such as organ harvesting or compelling children into forced labor. Sam had witnessed them numerous times coaxing and coercing small children into old vans, either devoid of license plates or bearing crudely scrawled markings. They operated with extreme guile, often posing as charity workers, volunteers, or recruiters for fictitious extracurricular programs. Sam had attempted to report them. Once he saw them loitering near a playground. "Sir, there are some strange people luring children in the park." Sam ran to a kind vegetable vendor, his voice trembling with urgency. "I saw them putting some kids into a van." The vendor merely regarded him with suspicion. "You little brat, don't invent stories. Go find a place to stay." Another time he tried to inform a patrolling police officer nearby. "Officer, there's a gang kidnapping children in this area." "I saw them near the school," Sam said, his breath ragged. The officer glanced coldly at the boy, not even deigning to meet his gaze. "You're a street kid. What do you know? Go away. Don't impede my work." The helplessness and frustration of being disbelieved compounded the burden of Sam's solitude. He comprehended that if anything transpired he would have to act autonomously. He could not merely stand idly by. That morning, the morning of the fateful encounter, After Lily was dropped off by her mother at the school gate, Mrs. Eleanor swiftly drove away. "I have an urgent meeting. You go into school first and remember to come home on time." She was unaware that an old green van without a license plate had been trailing her car from a distance and was now parked out of sight. The ringleader, a man named Vincent, 35 years old with a meticulously trimmed dark beard, and his two large heavily tattooed enforcers, had thoroughly investigated Lily's schedule and routines as well as the school gate's blind spot. Simultaneously, Sam, feeling uneasy after weeks of observing this peculiar group, had quietly shadowed Lily to the school gate. He knew Lily had a habit of lingering momentarily before entering class. A premonition told him something was amiss. Lily skipped merrily into the gate, but instead of heading directly to class, she was drawn to a group of individuals standing near the gate distributing free candy and toys. The precise spot where Lily stood conversing with the stranger was a small, secluded nook adjacent to the parent parking lot, where the view from the main school entrance was obstructed by tall trees and a line of parked vehicles. This was the ideal blind spot that Vincent and his accomplices had selected. Vincent, clad in a polite gray shirt, offered a genial smile. "Hello, dear. Do you desire some candy or this toy?" He extended a small pink teddy bear, a limited edition that Lily had yearned for. In his palm, a small hidden cloth impregnated with anesthetic. Lily's eyes brightened. She had been instructed not to accept items from strangers, but this man appeared benevolent, and he was even at the school gate. "Yes, Lily hesitated, reaching out to grasp the teddy bear. At that precise moment, Sam materialized, and his scream ripped through the quiet air, returning the narrative to its dramatic inception. After Sam collapsed, the abductors swiftly pursued Lily into the cornfield. Their furious shouts reverberated in the silent expanse. Lily ran and ran, the enraged cries of her pursuers and the sounds of Sam being brutalized still echoing in her ears. She had no destination in mind, only running on instinct, adhering to Sam's last desperate directive. Her ragged breaths tore at her small lungs, her heart pounding in her chest as if it would rupture. She stumbled multiple times on the uneven terrain, her clothing soiled with mud and leaves, but still managed to regain her footing and continue her flight. The sheer terror forbade her from stopping. Lily's bright, secure world had utterly shattered. Vincent and the remaining henchmen were close behind, the snapping of dry branches beneath their feet adding to Lily's dread. Both men were seasoned predators and they would not easily relinquish their quarry. Finally, in utter desperation, Lily discovered an old, dilapidated, decaying, abandoned shack in the vast cornfield. This was one of the old shelters Sam frequently utilized, which he had referenced when guiding Lily. Despite her fear, she managed to locate a secure hiding place. The shack was damp, dark, reeking of mildew and damp earth. Rotten wood and rusty corrugated iron created a cramped space filled with cobwebs and dust. Lily held her breath, pressing herself into the darkest corner, striving to emit no sound. She heard Vincent and his henchmen brush past directly outside the shack, their curses echoing as they realized they had lost her trail. They searched for a while, then proceeded further, their footsteps slowly fading into the night, perhaps assuming she had run much farther, or found a superior hiding place. Fortune had smiled upon Lily in that critical moment. She huddled in the corner, trembling and sobbing, calling out for her mother and Sam in vain. Hours later, as night had completely descended, Lily remained in the shack, hungry and chilled. The chirping of nocturnal insects and the whistling wind through the rotting fissures in the door only intensified her loneliness and fear. Lily began to despair. Sam was nowhere to be found. Suddenly there were limping, heavy footsteps outside. Lily held her breath, her heart pounding. The door creaked open. "Lily, little girl, it's Sam." A weak, broken voice resonated. Sam stumbled into the shack, covered in mud, with prominent bruises clearly visible on his swollen face and arms. Dried blood stained the corner of his mouth. He had regained consciousness after being beaten, and with what little strength he had left, he managed to find his way to the shack he had mentioned to Lily. The henchman Vincent had left behind had departed after assuming Sam was dead or no longer worth the trouble, affording Sam an opportunity to recover and find his way. Sam collapsed as soon as he stepped inside, utterly exhausted, panting like a wounded creature. Lily rushed to him, embracing Sam, disregarding the mud and dried blood on his body. "Sam, are you all right?" "I was so scared, I thought." Lily sobbed, her voice choked. Sam managed a faint smile, his eyes weary but still attempting to reassure Lily. "It's okay as long as you're safe." He extracted the strawberry candy Lily had given him that morning from his torn pocket. The candy was slightly dented but still whole like a small marvel. "Little girl, eat. Regain your strength," Sam whispered. Then with his last ounce of vitality he managed to offer Lily a small plastic bottle with a little water he had discovered. In that dark, cold shack, Sam, despite being severely injured and utterly exhausted, sheltered Lily. He endeavored to comfort her with brief narratives, words of encouragement. I don't have a home," Sam whispered, his voice tinged with pain. "My mom passed away young. My dad left. I had to fend for myself. No one believed me." Lily listened, tears streaming down her face. She began to grasp the harshness of the outside world and Sam's extraordinary, selfless valor. A wave of guilt surged as she remembered how her mother had treated Sam that morning. My mom wasn't kind to you either," Lily mumbled. Sam weakly shook his head. "It's okay. You're not like them." A naive understanding began to form in her young mind. A person's worth isn't determined by the clothes they wear or the house they inhabit. The long night passed with the whistling wind, the chirping of insects and ceaseless fear. The two children huddled together for warmth and solace. Sam, despite the pain, struggled to remain awake to protect Lily. He coughed occasionally, then drifted off for fleeting moments, but still forced his eyes open to watch over Lily. Lily cared for Sam with every fiber of her being, using her handkerchief to wipe the dried blood from Sam's face, massaging his bruised arm. As morning approached, Sam gradually drifted into a deeper unconsciousness due to his injuries and exhaustion. Lily panicked, attempting to rouse Sam, but he no longer responded. She could only cling tightly to him, sobbing in the dark, praying for a miracle to befall her young hero. When Eleanor Vance returned to the school to collect Lily after her meeting, her heart constricted. Lily was not there. Her SUV screeched to a halt at the school gate, and she called her daughter's name in vain, her voice echoing. The dread of losing her daughter completely overshadowed all other thoughts. Now in her mind there was only the image of Lily, her precious daughter, and the direst possible scenario. She ran along the road, calling Lily's name, tears streaming down her face. The distant wail of police sirens began, offering no comfort, only intensifying her overwhelming fear. The police quickly mobilized, launching an extensive search. David Vance, Lily's father, was also present, his face pallid with worry. He was usually a composed, rational man, but now his eyes were red from sleeplessness and anxiety. He attempted to reassure his wife, but he himself was on the verge of despair. "You need to compose yourself, Eleanor. The police are working," David said, his voice also trembling. "How can I calm down? Where's my Lily? What am I to do?" Eleanor screamed, despair tearing at her soul. They discovered Lily's backpack abandoned near the school gate, a small clue. A few witnesses, an elderly newspaper vendor on the corner, a delivery man, later vaguely recounted a fleeting struggle involving a strange van. They had not grasped the gravity of the situation at the time, believing it to be merely a minor disagreement. It wasn't until Lily was absent from class, and the teacher reported her to the school office about 15 minutes after class began, and then the school contacted Mrs. Lohner, that the true panic set in. That delay had provided ample time for the abductors to act and flee. As the search expanded, Eleanor, in her extreme panic, began to recall. She remembered Sam's hungry face at the market, his urgent plea, and how she had scorned him. A vague, chilling sense of culpability began to seep into her heart. Had she overlooked a warning sign? Had her own arrogance and bias imperiled her daughter? The fear of losing her child mingled with the torment of her conscience. Every police siren, every ambiguous phone call delved deeper into her suffering and self-reproach. David also recognized this. He looked at his wife with eyes that were both empathetic and understanding. He had once harbored similar prejudices, though he hadn't articulated them as harshly as Eleanor. What if that boy Sam was telling the truth? Eleanor whispered, her voice faltering. David looked at her, saying nothing, but his eyes were full of contemplation. He immediately requested the police review the security cameras in the area. It wasn't until night had completely fallen, the last rays of sun yielding to gloomy darkness, that a search party, including Lily's parents and the police, finally followed blood trails and small footprints deep into the cornfield. They groped in the dark, only flashlights illuminating their path. When they reached the old dilapidated shack in the middle of the field, the sight that greeted their eyes left Eleanor and David stunned, choked with emotion. Lily sat huddled, her face streaked with mud and tears, trembling and clinging tightly to the unconscious Sam. The boy was covered in bruises, weak and trembling. In that moment, all of Mrs. Eleanor's prejudices, all her arrogance crumbled completely, vanishing like mist. She saw her daughter safe, frail but alive, thanks to the very boy she had driven away and scorned just hours before. The overwhelming fear she had just experienced now gave way to a surge of emotions stronger than ever. Profound remorse and boundless gratitude. She didn't care that her expensive clothes were stained. She rushed over, kneeling beside Sam. She grasped his thin, cold hand, sobbing. "My boy. Oh my God. You saved my daughter." Her voice broke with each sob, each one an apology for past biases. She gently stroked his messy, muddy hair, her hot tears falling onto Sam's face. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't believe you. I misunderstood you. You are our hero." Sam, though still weak, slowly opened his eyes and looked at her. His eyes still held fear and pain, but also a hint of relief at seeing Lily safe and the worried faces around him. Lily stood beside him, holding Sam's hand tightly, her eyes red from crying. "That's right. You're a hero," Lily whispered, her voice choked from excessive crying but full of pride. Medical personnel and police swiftly arrived. Sam was rushed to the emergency room immediately. At the hospital, doctors reported that Sam had a mild concussion, numerous contusions and severe exhaustion, but fortunately no life-threatening internal injuries. The Vance family remained by Sam's bedside. Eleanor was no longer the detached woman she had been. She personally spoon-fed him porridge, wiped his face, oblivious to curious glances or whispers from others. Mr. David also visited frequently, bringing small toys he thought Sam would appreciate and good books Sam might never have had the chance to read. They engaged the finest lawyer to safeguard Sam's rights, ensuring he would not have to revert to life on the streets. During Sam's hospitalization, the narrative of the incident rapidly spread throughout the town and beyond through national media outlets. Security camera footage near the school gate captured Sam bravely rushing to warn Lily and also his solitary confrontation with the traffickers afterward. The testimonies of Lily and Sam, once he recovered, unveiled the complete truth about the trafficking ring. They targeted children from underprivileged backgrounds or negligent families with the aim of organ trafficking and child slavery. This incident not only caused a sensation but also ignited a fervent debate in the community regarding social prejudice, injustice towards street children and individual accountability. Following an intense search and based on clues from security cameras, as well as the testimonies of Sam and Lily, the police swiftly apprehended Vincent and all his accomplices. They were arrested while attempting to depart town via a back road. During the search, police uncovered clear evidence of the child trafficking network they were involved in. These individuals faced serious charges of kidnapping, assault, and participation in a transnational criminal organization. They were publicly tried and received appropriate sentences, ensuring they atoned for their transgressions. The case became a potent wake-up call concerning human trafficking and the urgent necessity to protect children. The public reacted strongly. A wave of support for Sam erupted. Online communities and charitable organizations lauded Sam as a hero, advocating for assistance for the boy. Thousands of people contributed funds, provisions, and volunteered for activities aiding homeless children. Simultaneously, Eleanor also faced intense public censure for her initial discriminatory stance. But she did not shy away. On a national television program, Eleanor publicly acknowledged her errors, speaking about her profound remorse and the lesson Sam had imparted to her. "I was once blinded by my prejudices," she said, her voice trembling but resolute. "I didn't trust a child simply because of his appearance. And I almost lost my daughter because of that selfishness. Sam didn't just save my child, he saved my conscience. He is a reminder that kindness and courage can exist anywhere, regardless of background or skin color." Her sincere words generated a wave of empathy and forgiveness from the community. After Sam had fully recuperated, the Vance family, especially Eleanor and David, made a momentous decision, one that would alter all their lives. They resolved to adopt Sam. At first, Sam was deeply confused and hesitant. He was unaccustomed to a life of abundance with regular meals, clean clothes, a soft bed. He still maintained his old habits, never touching food until everyone else had eaten, always sitting timidly in a corner of the room, sometimes startled by sudden noises. He frequently experienced nightmares, reliving the beatings, the cold nights, and the terrible solitude on the streets. "Mom, I don't know what to do," Sam whispered to Eleanor one evening as she sat by his bed. "I've never had my own room." Eleanor gently stroked his hair. "It's okay, son. You'll get used to it. This is your home now. I'll be here with you." David often spent time with Sam, teaching him to play chess, soccer, games Sam had never had the opportunity to experience. "Here's how you hold the bat, Sam." David patiently instructed Sam in the backyard. "Try again." He listened to the boy's fears, helping him gradually surmount the past traumas. They took Sam shopping for new attire, furnished him with his own room complete with all amenities and toys, and enrolled him in school. Sam learned to read, write, and perform mathematics, skills he had only fantasized about before. Gradually, Sam began to open up more. He started to smile more frequently, genuine smiles no longer forced. The bond between Sam and Lily blossomed, becoming as close as true siblings. Lily assisted Sam with his homework, patiently explaining complex concepts. "Sam, this problem is easy." Lily pointed to the book. "Look, you just need to add these two numbers." Sam, with his sharp intellect and street wisdom, often protected Lily from bullies at school, imparting lessons about strength and resilience, about how to distinguish good people from bad. He gradually came to believe that this was a real home, a place where he was loved and safe, where he no longer had to fear hunger or cold nights. Eleanor not only made amends to Sam, but also became a formidable social activist. She established the Sam's Fund, a charitable organization dedicated to supporting homeless children and victims of human trafficking. She traveled extensively to deliver speeches, speaking out against racial discrimination and social prejudice. She utilized her own family's story as a living lesson about remorse and compassion. David also leveraged his business influence to support the fund's initiatives, creating employment and opportunities for those in need, helping them embark on a new beginning. One evening, while watching cartoons with Lily in the cozy living room, Sam turned to Lily. "Do you think people can truly change, Lily?" Sam asked, his voice deep and calm. Lily looked at him, shaking her head. "I don't know about everyone, but Mom has changed and so have I. You've taught us so much, Sam." Weeks passed. Sam still referred to Lily's parents as Mr. Vance and Mrs. Vance. Finally, one day as Eleanor was reading to Sam before bed, Sam hesitated. "Mom, I'm sleepy." Eleanor froze for a moment. Then she hugged Sam tightly, tears welling up with happiness. David, witnessing the scene, quietly wiped his own eyes. On the day Sam received his official papers, formally becoming a legal member of the Vance family, he stood silently, his eyes glistening with tears as the judge smiled and congratulated him. He felt an unusual warmth in his chest. "You don't owe us anything," David said, embracing Sam tightly. "But you've given us everything." And Lily whispered to Sam that night as they lay in bed preparing for sleep, "I don't even want to think about what would have happened if you hadn't come." Sam smiled, holding the small yellow toy bus Lily had given him as a playful gesture, a symbol of his new beginning. "Promise me one thing," he said. "Anything," Lily replied, looking directly into his eyes. "Never judge anyone by their appearance or their status," Sam said, his voice deep, laden with all he had endured. Lily nodded, engraving those words in her heart. And Sam added, "But always trust your heart in what's right." Sam, the boy once overlooked and treated differently because of his background and skin color, ultimately became the one who saved a life and in return was given a life filled with love, opportunity, and a true family. He found a better place where his courage and compassionate heart were cherished, and his story became a living testament to the power of human connection and redemption. Join us to share meaningful stories by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to start your day with profound lessons and heartfelt empathy.